Hey, good morning. Or evening. Just about to start. So, look at this. All these controller options. I mapped them the best I could. So, I'll see if it works. If not, I'll just switch to mouse and keyboard. Alright. Let's get started. Corpse Party Blood Drive. The opening. Well, there wasn't actually an opening this time. It just went straight to this. So it might happen as we start the first chapter. Yeah, so I waited. I was on the menu screen for a while. There's no opening. It goes to like... It doesn't play anything. It just comes straight here. It'll probably play when we start the game. That's what I'm thinking. Chapter 0. Yeah, that is new. So it is directly after the last game. It had been 2 months since the Book of Shadows incident. I was critically wounded by the blowback from the sorcery I'd involved myself with, but Nakashima was there to carry me out from the crumbling Shinozaki estate. Why is the text like this? It's kind of hard to read. The two of us were picked up on the side of the old mountain road and rushed to the hospital, where I was restored to a stable condition. The grimoire responsible for so much of the horror everyone had been through, the Book of Shadows, was buried in the rubble of the estate when the roof collapsed.
天神小学校が崩壊し、私たちが現世に戻ってきてから2ヶ月が過ぎた。
So it's been 2 months since that happened.
これでいいの？おかしいな。都市伝説掲示板の噂では、これをやった直後に地震が起きて、神隠しに遭う危険ありって。
It looks nice.
だったのに。ちょっと、 そんなのに付き合わせてたの？ひどい。
This this might be a different school.
ごめんごめん。これでみんな離れ離れにならずに済むよ。幸子を失ったあの空間からは
It looks like they were
幸せ
doing the
の幸子
ritual,
さんの効力も消え、
whoever those girls were.
迷い込んだ聖者を閉じ込めて残酷に命を奪う呪いの学校を消滅させられたのは良かったけれど、私たちは友達と先生の命とその生きた証、存在までもが奪われてしまった。聖子はいたんだよ。どうしてみんな分かってくれないの？そんな子いないのよ。さあ、薬を飲みなさい。ナオミ、飲みな
Jeez.
さい。飲むの。いや、私はおかしくない。おかしくなんかないんだから。生き残った私たちにとってこの2ヶ月は地獄のように誰か助けて。委員長、しっかりして。絶対死なせないから。私は軽はずみに手を出したオカルト儀式のせいで出血多量の大怪我をして何週間も入院を余儀なくされてしまった。昨日退院してから初めて登校した如月学園。校門前で私は校舎を見つめて身をすくめた。この門をくぐれば鈴本さんやゆい先生たちのいない現実をいやおうなく思い知らされるから。
篠崎、
Yeah, it looks really nice. The models.
みんな
There's everyone that survived.
この世界で心の底から分かり合えるのはこの5人だけ。存在の消えた4人のことを共有できるから。
I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit after this. I feel like it's a little too loud.
退院おめでとう。
Wow, it's just on 50. I think... Come on. There we go.
おお、篠崎、やっと出てきたか。
岸沼くん。おかえり、委員長。中島さん。
The controls seem to be working pretty good. The controller setup.
篠崎、おかえり。
ありがとう。あゆみお姉ちゃん、大丈夫ですか？ありがとう、ゆかちゃん。大丈夫よ。この時、私はまだ知らなかった。
Yeah, they're working so far. It seems pretty good.
天神症のあった多重閉鎖空間どころではない現実のこの世界に。
This is the girl.
幸せのサーチ。
This girl did the ritual earlier.
みんなおまじない好きだよね。またなんか新しいの仕入れなきゃ。ママ、今日は早番だといいな。お腹空いちゃった。
Whoa.
ママ。
Oh.
呪いは拡大しつつあったことに。
You've got to be kidding me. The curse's reach was growing. It's reaching from outside of the place now. Oh, here we go.
変死事件がまた起こり
I
ました。
like that.
死亡した中学生の佐久間凛さんは
Final
折
game.
れた状態で発見されており、
I like that. That was really good.
まったく転んだ拍子に落ちていた刃物でああも大怪我するなんて一体何をしていたのあゆみ。
Yeah, it was. It was fitting since this is the final game in their story. It felt like a final opening. I don't know who that ghost was that appeared, the one that killed the girl.
日の絵みたいにまた幽霊がどうのとかオカルトまがいなことをしてるんじゃないでしょうね。
She doesn't know that her daughter's dead. That's their mother.
ほっといてよ。
She never told her.
もういつものこととはいえ日の絵もどこへ行っているのやら。うちの娘たちは親に心配ばかりかけて。
Mm.
忌まわしい記憶。
Wow. 'A massive earthquake rippled through the basement of the Shinozaki estate, leaving it teetering on the edge of collapse. Worse still, the whole place was in flames. Hinoe's mangled form appeared as if shimmering in the fire's light, red glinting off of red around the edges of the blade that were rapidly what does that say? Slicing her flesh? I can't see that. They danced around and around through her almost whimsically, prompting unnatural gyrations throughout her body without ever letting her so much as touch the ground. So she's up in the air. Hey, potato. She's up in the air as these blades are slicing through her over and over and over. Her sister. She hasn't even touched the ground yet. I grabbed onto Hinoe's body in a vain attempt to pull her to safety. But Hinoe used what little strength she had left to push me back.
あゆみちゃん、生きるのよ。お姉ちゃんはいつもあなたの心の中にいますよ。
I could distinctly hear these words in the back of my head, spoken in a soft, smoothing voice. It was short-lived, however, as the ceiling suddenly became webbed with cracks and fissures, and a massive beam fell from above, crushing her upper body entirely. With this, I shot to my feet and began running in circles, screaming uncontrollably. I would have run right into the rapidly spreading fire if Naomi hadn't caught me. So she's screaming, running in circles, and she almost ran into the fire. But Naomi saved her. My hands and feet were covered in red bruises and cuts from the swarm of blades that my spell had summoned. Naomi was bleeding as well, but nowhere nearly as bad.
ダメ、委員長、逃げるのよ。離してよ。離して。
失われたみんなの存在を取り戻すため、篠崎幸子と天神症の呪い、その根源を追う私と中島さんの前に。
Yeah, like I was saying, like I feel like this is just too much for her. You know?
取り壊され、この世に存在しないはずの篠崎義恵と幸子の成果が現れた。
We'll see.
その地下にあった古代の本、ブック・オブ・シャドウズで黒魔術を試した私は、夢かうつつかもわからない恐ろしい事態に襲われて瀕死の重傷を負ってしまったのだ。どうしてあの場所が分かったのかは知れないけれど、飛び込んできたお姉ちゃんが私をかばって、結局私は何もできず、ただ犠牲を増やしただけだった。
All I did was add one more sacrifice to the pile. Mm.
死んじゃえばよかったのに。私なんか、みんな私の犠牲者じゃない。私なんか
Jeez.
私なんか。
いいぞ、死ね。死ね。死ね。
What?
なんだよ、やめるなよ。そのまま死ねよ。
With one shoe on my desk and sporting a rare open-mouthed version of a shit-eating grin, a boy wearing a black parka was just somehow there in my room, without explanation. He just appeared in her room.
死んでくやつが俺の名前なんて興味ねえだろ。嘘ばっかだな、お前の反応。それが嘘だろって言ってんだよ。本心はどこだ、クソ女。殺したいんじゃなくて助けたいんだろ。苦しんでるてめえをよ。八つ当たりしてねえで動けや、甘ったれ。誰も助けちゃくれねえぞ。
誰よ。何なのよ。何しに来たのよ。
誰でもねえさ。嘘ついたまま本当に終わっちまっちゃつまんねえぞ。
Without a word, he motioned for me to put my hand out and unceremoniously plopped a piece of 10-cent Tinian gum. He gave her some gum. The boy smiled with a cold yet oddly kind expression, then finally took his leave by jumping out the window. So he came from her window. All I could do was stand there and sob. You wonder what flavor gum it is?
確か篠崎の家はこっちだったよな。
Miss Yoshiki.
変わった格好のやつだな。
天神症も崩壊し消え去った今、罪滅ぼしに私に何ができるのだろう。
Like she's stabbing herself. The guy just broke into her room, and you're like, I wonder what kind of gum that is.
起立。
It's funny.
はい、お疲れ様。
To lighten the mood.
おう、サトシ。
Satoshi. There he is.
お前今日弁当だよな。屋上で食おうぜ。
ああ、そうだな。今日は天気も良さそうだし、行くか。
Yeah, it's working.
おお、すごい空だな。雲が全然ない。
秋晴れだな。
It feels nice to see the game like this.
この辺で食べよう。しかしなんか
It's so
妙に軽い
clear.
な、弁当箱。よしき、今日はなんだ？
時間あったから揚げ物にした。
Yeah, we actually see the characters up close for the first time.
相変わらず何でも作れるな、お前は。俺んちは昨日の残り物とかだよ、多分。
いいじゃねえかよ。この幸せもんが。
そうなのか？
It's money for bread or something. Oh, that's tragic.
母さん。
あら、こんなところでご飯なの？
That sounds like something my mom would have done.
一層美味しく食べられそうね。
Here, buy something. Like, okay. Wait, who's this?
庭クオン先生
Miss Kuon.
だっけ？
It's their teacher. It's a new teacher. She's the English teacher.
クラスメートの話によると、俺たちが天神小学校から戻ったあの日から、ちょうど半年前にこの学校に赴任してきた先生らしいが、俺たちにその記憶はない。
Yeah, she is.
俺たちのいた世界ではゆい先生という別の先生がその立ち位置だったんだ。だからこのクオン先生には悪いけど、天神小学校から生還した俺たちはみんなこの事実に違和感を感じていた。
So she looks German. Let me see exactly what he said. Okay, so she's basically a teacher that just appeared. He said she'd come to our school about half a year ago, but the five of us have no memory of that. So she's replacing Miss Yue. Yeah, the text is kind of small. It's different from the other games. It's okay though.
サトシくん、ご飯がないの？何が食べたい？
え？
好きな食べ物は？
カツ丼？なんだろう、あの先生。
Don't tell me she's going to go get it for him. Pork cutlet.
からかわれたんだよ。
I guess I'll go buy some bread from the cafeteria or something. Okay, but you should probably hurry up. I mean, lunch has already started, so I doubt they'll have any left at this point. Oh crap, you're right. Okay, wait right here. I'll be back. Oh no. We have stamina in this game. Alright, I'm going. That means we're gonna be running from things. And running out of stamina while running.
仕方ねえな。俺のエビフライ一本やるよ。うれ。
Bread with custard in it? That sounds good. My eyes shone upon meeting those of the magnificent golden fried shrimp.
本当か？悪いな。
What is happening?
Shimada-sama ですね。
Yes.
俺？はい、そうですけど。
お食事をお持ちいたしました。
What? I've come here to deliver your lunch.
え？
Don't tell me that teacher did this. The man in black handed over a lacquer box containing pork cutlet on rice with egg. Picture perfect in every way. It was my favorite meal, down to the last detail. Yoshiki is stunned, utterly dumbfounded. loosened his grip on the fried shrimp he was holding and plummeted to the ground, defeated by his new contender. Excuse me.
先生。
Don't tell me this teacher's like some super rich. You know, that's crazy. The classroom glowed with a golden hue of twilight, but my gaze was fixed at the floor. It must have been obvious to Nakashima that I had a lot on my mind.
大丈夫？委員長。
She asked this as she sat down on the desk in front of me, facing backwards. She was trying to comfort me. But she had dark circles around her eyes too. She and I must have looked very similar to one another from an outside perspective. My left hand was still wrapped in bandages. It throbbed incessantly, reminding me of the previous night's events. I ignored it as best as I could and forced an empty smile.
ごめんね。もうこれ以上迷惑かけないから。
That is sad. I won't cause any more trouble. She's really blaming herself hard for that.
迷惑ってどういうこと？
I couldn't bring myself to answer that. I just flashed another smile, a confusing one that must have looked very strange to her. And I left the classroom.
委員長。
今出て行ったの篠崎か？
ナオミ、どうしたんだ？
委員長、なんだか思い詰めてるみたい。私たちでフォローしてあげた方がいいかも。
お前もだよ、ナオミ。無理していないか？
大丈夫。辛いのは私だけじゃないし、私一人甘えてられないもの。委員長、変な気起こさなきゃいいけど。
Feel bad for her. As I walked, I thought back to my time at the hospital. I was lying in bed, arms and legs virtually mummified in bandages. When a woman with flowers came to see me,
はじめまして。あら、そっくりですね。お姉ちゃんと。
I guess this is a friend of our sister's.
あなた。私は山村未来。あなたのお姉ちゃん、日野江と共にウィッカインスティテュートという精霊崇拝組合に所属しているものです。
Association dedicated to the worship of spirits.
お姉ちゃんの。
That's kind of crazy.
はい。これはお見舞いです。
As she said this, she placed a bouquet of flowers on a small table by the bed and looked around the room with a curious expression on her face.
ご両親は今いらっしゃらない？お買い物に行っています。そう。お父さんもお母さんもまだ知らないのですよね。日の絵の
死を。
What do you know about it?
彼女が命を落としたあの日、あなたを追って旧篠崎家跡地へ向かう前に、日の絵は私に最後の連絡をくれていました。
I see.
お姉ちゃんがきっと自分の運命を理解して、そして受け入れていたのね。精霊は人の死期を教えてくれるの。その分できる精一杯の行動と覚悟が持てる。彼女は立派だったわ。
So she knew she would die, and she went anyway. Tears began pouring from my eyes, and I could do nothing to stop them. Yeah, she was. I had been sitting in bed, unconsciously started to curl into a fetal position. As best as I could with the bandages, Yamamura put her hand on my back to comfort me.
あゆみちゃん、日の絵の意思を伝えるわ。黒の本、ブック・オブ・シャドウズを取り戻しなさい。代々篠崎家が守り続けてきた門外不出の禁忌の書よ。
Retrieve the Book of Shadows.
あの本が心ない者の手に渡れば、この世は混乱の淵に落とされてしまう。
That is true. She has to get that book. Like, it's too dangerous to just let sit there for anyone to find it.
私たち WI は精霊と心を通わせる自然の意志にただ沿おうとする白魔女の組合。
Association of White Witches.
ご両親の反対を押し切って篠崎家から飛び出した日の絵は、今さら関わるのをためらっていたのだけれど、
So they call themselves White Witches. So I guess they consider themselves good witches, is what I'm gathering. They do probably white magic or something.
近年その存在を感じるようになってずっと気にしていたの。私とウィッカの仲間で調べたけれど、篠崎義恵と幸子の屋敷跡地にはなかったわ。更地だったはずのあの場所に焼け焦げた家の梁や瓦礫が現れていて驚いたけれど、あの場所からは消えても感じるの。存在はまだ残っている、この世のどこかに。
Yamamura looked directly into my eyes.
この町にあなたや篠崎義恵と同じ篠崎家の血筋の方が住んでいたのは知っているかしら。
Yamamura pulled a notepad from her pocket and carefully wrote a name and address on the top of the sheet. She then tore the page and handed it to me. Makina Shinozaki. So they have another relative that lives in the city. I knew that name. It was on the family tree.
牧野、覚えている名前だわ。義恵の家の地下室にあった篠崎の家系図。義恵の上に並んでいた彼女の 母の妹。おばにあたる人。
So Yoshie's aunt.
そのマキナさんの家に行けば、何か黒の本を取り戻すための手がかりが残されているかもしれない。私たちは霊に対する感受性が強すぎて、部屋に入ることもできなかったわ。何が起こるかわからないけれど、日の絵の意志を継ぐ強さがあるのなら、頑張ってみなさい。
And with that, Yamamura simply turned and left the hospital room.
お姉ちゃんの意志。
Well, who is this? On the other side of the door, a peculiar girl stood in wait. As soon as Yamamura had covered enough distance to put me out of earshot, the two of them spoke.
ご苦労様。
これでいいのね。
Ooh. She lied. Did she lie?
お前らが息をしているだけでこっちは虫唾が走るんだ。殺さないでやるからさっさと消え失せろ。
Yamamura ran away as quickly as she could, without drawing attention to herself. As if in response, the intimidating girl, in a peculiar outfit, spat on the hospital wall.
たく、世の中アホばっかり。
As she mumbled these words, she sneaked a sidelong glance at me in my room. I was completely oblivious.
篠崎日の絵。簡単に死にやがって。くっそ使えない。
So that whole thing about white witches or whatever, it's just a lie. She wants the book. I bet. This girl. It was time to meet my fate. I had no trouble locating Makima's residence. I don't know what I was expecting, but what I found was just an ordinary apartment building. Potty mouth. I couldn't involve Mochida and the others in this. They'd been through enough. Besides, this was a family matter. My bloodline was responsible for this whole mess. So it was only right that I be the one to make amends, alone. She doesn't want to bring anyone with her. I knew it, man. This is not smart, Ayumi.
随分ボロボロ。これは何かの事情で取り壊されないまま放置されているのね。管理されているのかしら。
I see why, yeah. But her doing this alone, though, like, that's extremely dangerous. In addition to most of the name tags being missing from the mailboxes, the ones that remain are encrusted with dirt and decay, and they are only barely legible. Some, in fact, are just plain rotted out entirely, or the slots for them are rusted over. They look like props from a horror movie.
ここにはマキナさんの家はないか。別の塔を見てみよう。
So we gotta find Makima's apartment.
これってやっぱり不法侵入だよね。気が引けるのと不安で落ち着かないや。急に扉が開いて「こら!」って怒鳴られたらびっくりして死んじゃうかも。誰か来る。
Yeah, I have it available if I get super stuck. Uh-oh. When a person gets truly startled, she's unable to move due to a combination of fear and will being put on a spot. It's like she's planted to the ground. It may be human nature, but I hated not being in control of my actions. Nonetheless, there I was, a sitting duck, just waiting for someone to come down the stairs. Except no one did. The seconds ticked on, but I was pretty definitely the only one there.
確かに足音がしたのに。
Uh-oh. The mailbox was stuffed with vast quantities of tissue paper. The bottom layer of the stack had turned into an unpleasant shade of brown. It may have just been from years of setting debris, but if that were the case, it shouldn't have been that dark.
何あれ。
It's a bunch of brown tissue paper. I slowly unwrapped the tissue, morbidly curious as to what I might find inside. Hey, Nikos. It was only then that I noticed the inside of the mailbox, which was stained with a deep crimson. It looked a whole lot like blood. Yeah, that's definitely blood. I'd unwrapped enough to see what was inside the tissue paper. It was the skeletal remains of a bird. Oh no. Welcome to the stream, Nico. I wonder if they wanted to show us that. That's weird. That's really weird. On the rusted panel of the mailbox from which I discovered this gruesome find was a name scribbled in permanent marker, Shinozaki. All right, let's go up. Oh no. You guys see the ghost on the windows when we entered? There are like two faces on both sides.
懐中電灯。
Oh, we have a flashlight. Persistent use of your flashlight. Yeah, there were two faces on the windows when we entered the building. Persistent use of your flashlight will eventually kill its battery. If this happens, you'll need to find a new battery and use it, or you'll be left in the dark. That is not good. Okay. Shinozaki.
トイレ行ってくればよかった。我慢しなきゃ。
So we got a flashlight. The door's shut tight. Uh-oh. Yeah, they are. So the controller won't let me select an option, so I have to use the mouse and keyboard to select an option, unfortunately. It looks like it's M.
すみません。
There's a doorbell on the wall nearby. It has some interesting mechanics, flashlight and all that. I mean, I'm ready for it. I don't mind. I guess there's no power. All right, let's open it up. I took a deep breath, mentally prepared myself for what I was about to attempt, and grabbed the steel doorknob.
携帯。びっくりさせないでよ。こんな時に。誰これ。知らない番号。もしもし。
Moshi moshi. Oh. The number disappeared from the screen, as if the call had never been placed.
あれあれ壊れたかな。やだ。もう。 開いてる。すみません。怒りっぽい。
I can see this game being creepier. The fact that it's so clear like this.
人が住まなくなってから何年ぐらい経っているんだろう。
You feel like you're right there. Yeah, right?
邪魔します。靴脱いだ方がいいかな。おかえり。
Oh no.
今人の声が。そうだ、篠崎よしえの家に行った時の記憶を生かさなくちゃ。今回はちゃんと用意したんだから。
Very polite, yeah. I was thinking that.
お姉ちゃんが研究のために使ってたボイスレコーダー。2008年11月10日午後7時48分、篠崎真希菜の家。捜索開始。
It's 2008. So she's gonna record her findings. That's smart of her.
私は大丈夫。頑張れる。あの学校とあの家をくぐってきた。
Alright, let's do it. Right after we save. Looks like a bathroom. It's a Japanese-style toilet. Fortunately, despite the condition of the apartment building, it seems to be a modern and fully functioning, non-septic model without any foul smell.
水は出るのかな。大きな音で水が流れ出しても怖いな。なんでこんなにおしっこしたいんだろう。体調のせい。
We're prepared, but I don't think Ayumi was prepared. I mean, I guess, right? Go ahead.
ダメ、このままじゃ漏れちゃう。
Sneaking into a deceased woman's abandoned apartment and using her. Look away. Okay. I'm reading this with my eyes closed then. It was kind of absurd, but I felt almost like I was infiltrating the deepest chambers of the enemy base. 緊張して出ないや。Whoa! With what sounded like my own relieved voice echoing back at me from the walls, I thought I finally done my business. But my bladder felt completely full.
私まだしてないのに。何これ。血。天井から漏れてるわけでもないのに。
As if accompanying the loud bubbling sound, the dull squish of a blade cutting into flesh was faintly audible. It immediately brought to mind somebody slitting her wrist. Alright, I guess that's out of the question. We're not using the bathroom.
山村さんの話だと篠崎真希菜はすでに亡くなっているってことだけど。生活用品とか当時のままみたい。篠崎真希菜が亡くなった後、誰もここに入らなかったのかしら。やっぱり怖いよ。
So we gotta save our flashlight battery. On the tiny kitchen table sat numerous prescription bags and instructions. The name written on every bag was Makina Shinozaki.
やはり篠崎真希菜の家で間違いないようね。
Yeah. Hey, Casey. There doesn't seem to be anything of note on the shelves. Though blurry and hard to make out, it seemed to be of a forest thick and with mist, along with one additional detail that made it much worse.
私は大丈夫。私は大丈夫。ダメ。やっぱり帰りたい。怖いよ。手がかり。手がかりって言ったって。見当もつかないけど、マキナさんの遺品をできるだけ持ち帰ってみよう。
In a corner formed by the wall, the refrigerator and the sink, there's an extremely disturbing amount of mold growing. Just breathing the air nearby feels hazardous. There aren't really any signs of food anywhere. However, maybe Makina didn't eat much. It is decently dark in here. There may be hidden compartments or spaces and shelves, and such as well. So be sure to examine everything very carefully. Alright, found some batteries.
何かしらこれ。
It was a small white box made out of paper. So small, in fact, that it fit in the palm of my hand, with room to spare. It was light as a feather, too. It's another one.
なんでここにも入ってるの？拾ってあげなきゃ。でも怖い。うん、触れない。ごめんね。ごめんね。
It's probably something to do with witchcraft, like maybe some kind of charm or something. Or curse. The drawers seem to contain only insurance documents, as well as an official name stamp.
これは持っていけないや。遺族の人はいないのかな。他には。あ、写真。
The top photograph on the stack depicted a young woman with a hairstyle decidedly not of a modern era.
この人がマキナさん。
The next photograph showed a different woman smiling widely. Her clothes were actually quite beautiful, and her eyes looked almost lifelike on paper, like they could suck you in. Flip through each of the remaining pictures, seeing mostly just more of the same, until Makina, Rocky, and Yoshie in Yokohama. Wow, that's them.
篠崎よしえ。幸子のお母さんだわ。
Yoshie, she's right there. Sachiko's mother.
だとするとこの女の子は。
The top cover was convexed, just as it would be if someone were sleeping beneath it. In fact, that's exactly what it looked like, almost unmistakably. And right on top of it sat a perfectly... Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. And right on top of it sat a perfect cube of a box, about 10 centimeters across on all sides, in bright red, with a Shinto Tori gate. Which would have been a lot more interesting if I weren't still scared out of my mind, and by the thought that there might have been someone under the cover this whole time. So she's saying the cover looks like it's sticking up, like someone's under it. You know, like there's a lump in it. So, first, I'm gonna check this mirror. I could see myself in the mirror. I looked worried. I want to make sure I got everything. What's wrong with her? Whoa. Wait. Doesn't this woman look like the old lady from, you remember Book of Shadows? Like the old woman. It was a silhouette of a human being, all black, save for two perfectly round cutouts, positioned halfway up the head, glinting with an unearthly light. This text is so hard to read. There were no signs of life nor detail anywhere along the shadowy figure, except in those eyes. But those eyes were very much alive. They were undeniably the eyes of a human. Oh, fuck. Whoa. There was a ghost in the mirror too, just now. Yeah, that woman. It looked just like her. As if in response to my worst fears, I'd suddenly caught sight of a small girl in a black dress, staring right in front of me. Hesitantly, taking a closer look, it was actually me, reflected in the mirror. But not just me. There was a black shadow behind me, and it was coming closer. I panicked and whirled around, and my light immediately went out. I was completely surrounded in darkness, as if whatever I'd seen fully enveloped me. Ayumi! I stepped on something soft and squishy. Unconsciously, I paused for a split second, pondering what it may have been. But my de facto conclusion was, I don't care. I need to get the hell out of here. The door's locked. Feeling around the glass door's surface, I finally found what seemed to be a handle. I tried in vain to turn it, only to realize that I couldn't because... Oh. I didn't have to ask, though. I could feel it and see it. My right hand was being clasped shut by tiny ghostly hands of a white-hued child. I shook my arm violently, and the white apparition faded from my sight. But my closed right hand still wouldn't open.
どうして手が開かないの？
I had to get out of there. That was paramount. Clenched fist or no, I needed to leave before something worse happened. Panicked, I flung open the glass door. I fell back completely sick to my stomach. My heart was pounding so hard and so fast. I was convinced I was gonna have a heart attack and die. At the very least, I knew I was about to lose consciousness. As if to confirm just how done for I was, my nose began bleeding profusely. I had no doubt at all. This was the end.
篠崎、おい、しっかりしろ。
To our friends, Kishinuma moved my warm, limp body onto the tatami flooring and carefully sat me up. Yeah, it was getting louder, the voice. I regained consciousness right away, and I was immediately met with the worried gaze of Kishinuma, Mochida, and Nakashima.
無事でよかった。
Nakashima wiped tears from her eyes. I was so relieved, so very relieved to see my friends. I started crying as well.
篠崎、なんでお前一人でこんなことしてんだよ。
私がやらなきゃいけないことだから。
何？
岸沼。サトシ。
よしきに任せよ
Satoshi's like, no, let him say what he has to say. I agree. She shouldn't have came by herself.
始まりだから。
始まりって何のだよ。
全部私が悪いの。私のせいでみんないなくなって。お姉ちゃんまで。
I was sobbing like a baby. My face must have been a mess, and my voice came out hoarse in a short burst.
悪いって何が？
私が幸せの幸子さんなんておまじない持ってきたせいだよ。全部私が悪いんだから。
まさかお前一人で全部の責任を背負い込んでんじゃないだろうな。なあ、俺たちは仲間だろ、篠崎。
I sheepishly nodded my head and looked down. I didn't want to meet his gaze.
じゃあよ、頼れよ。一人で突っ走んなよ。いいか、今ここではっきりさせといてやる。あんなもの絶対にお前のせいなんかじゃねえんだよ。
死ぬまく。
お前は悪くない。だからそんな風に自分を責めんなよ。
死ぬまく。
少なくともここにいるみんなそう思ってるだろう。
ああ、ヨシキの言う通りだ。
そうだよ委員長、もう一人で抱え込まないで。
私みんなをもう巻き込みたくないから自分でなんとかしなきゃって。でも怖くて私やっぱり何もできなかった。
ったくバカだな。お前はよく頑張ったよ。いいからもっと俺たちを頼れ。
バカってひどい。
いや、だからよ。
ありがとう。
I didn't entirely believe them. It was a fact that this whole mess started when I led everyone in the Sachiko Ever After ritual, but I appreciated their words nonetheless.
こうなってしまった以上、残された俺たちはみんなでこの現実を受け止めていくしかないんだ。
受け入れるんじゃなくな。
ああ、少しでも良くしていくためにできることをする。
I'm sure she appreciates the tissues.
気持ちはみんな一緒だよ委員長。
あなたは何もできなかったなんてことはないわよ。
I didn't recognize the voice at all, and was a little perturbed that no one else seemed startled by it. It belonged to a girl I'd never seen before, wearing an unusual outfit.
篠崎あゆみちゃんね。無事でよかったわ。
あなたは。
篠崎、お前がヤバいところに向かってるって、この場所を俺たちに教えてくれたのはこの人なんだ。
So that's how they found her.
丹羽愛子さんだ。
Aiko Niwa. Niwa.
ごめんなさいね。 いろいろと調べさせてもらったわ。私は情報や霊能関係に詳しいの。篠崎ひのえさんの妹さんなら、そうね、さえのきなほちゃんの友達といえばわかるかしら。
So she's Naho's friend.
ナホさんのお姉ちゃんのことも知ってるの？
And she remembers Naho, even though she died in the school.
え、あなたのお姉さんひのえさんはこちらの世界では有名
Right.
人だったわ。
Friend, yeah.
あゆみちゃん、その右手開かないの？
Of the teacher? Yeah. My right hand had been clasped shut this whole time. I'd almost forgotten about it. I tried to open it again, but I still couldn't.
はい。
あ、見せてみろ。
She can't open her hand. Kishinuma grabbed my hand and tried to pry my fingers open.
無理に開ける必要はないわ。きっと時期が来たら自然に開く。その時を待ちなさい。あら？これは？
She attempted to open the box just for a moment, but her efforts proved to be in vain, just as mine were.
気になる箱ね。これも開かない。なるほどね。
Aiko was mesmerized by the unopening box. She seemed desperate to understand what force kept it sealed, almost giddy at the unspoken prospects of what it could be, of what it could mean.
ものすごい霊力。これはすごいわ。今晩預かっていいかしら。うちに戻れば開けられるかもしれない。
She is super into this type of thing by the looks of it.
はあ。
I had the feeling that this was less of a request than it was a statement. She would never have taken no for an answer.
まあ、今日はもう遅いから詳しい話は明日させてもらうわね。放課後会いに行くわ。
That night, after I returned home, I stood in front of my mirror and just kept trying to open my right hand. I put every bit of strength and energy I had into it. There's something in there. What I found inside, closed in my hand, were teeth. Human teeth, from the looks of it. Very small baby teeth, 2 of them. The roots of each tooth were embedded deep in my palm, and I was bleeding quite a bit as a result.
なんで私の手の中に子供の歯が？
I Yeah, it's like baby teeth. Chapter 0 complete. Wow. EVP entries of Hinoe Shinozaki have been unlocked. New Encyclopedia Obscura entries. Kisaragi Academy. Grimoire. There's a lot of content in this game. That's a lot of unlocks. Would you like to save? Yeah. So what did we get? Got some art. Alright, where are the cursed phonographs? I think this is the music. Yeah, that's the music. These are the cast messages. We didn't get any of these yet. Thought it said we got... Build your own conversations using character voices. What does that mean?
Ayumi ちゃん、生きるのよ。お姉ちゃんはいつもあなたの心の中にいますよ。
Wait, so we can make conversations and using the character voices. That's interesting. Encyclopedia. This is a cool feature. They added encyclopedia to the game. Grimoire. Grimoire refers to the Book of Shadows. Alright. That was good. I enjoyed that. So it looks like there's maybe like about 10 chapters in this game. I'm gonna end it early today on this chapter, and tomorrow we'll do chapter 1 because I still have to record something else for a different game. I enjoyed that though. What did you guys think of that? It looked pretty realistic. Like, I like the immersion of being in the game with this one. You feel right in the action. I like that. Yeah, it felt intense. Yeah, it's a good start. We'll do the next chapter. Right? Yeah, it is. Alright. You guys take care, okay? Thanks for watching.